Hey guys, it's Sebastian from Ask Sebby, and today we are going to round up all of the news that you need to know about from July. I'm still debating on whether I should do this monthly or maybe quarterly, so let me know down below in the comments if you have an opinion. The main point is to do a too long didn't watch of all of the videos that people need to know about. So you would still want to watch the main video for the bulk of the content, but this is for people who haven't had time. Before we dive into all of this, as always, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. And one other thing too is that I've started posting a lot of deals over on Instagram. And there's been a lot of flight deals recently, especially to Europe. So if you're someone who wants to go from even the West Coast, there are a bunch of deals in the $300 round trip range. If you're someone with the Ritz-Carlton card or the Citi National Bank Visa Infinite card, then you can also do some West Coast stuff for very cheap, less than $20 in some cases, round trip. I'm trying to get our Instagram follower count up to 10,000 just so I can have direct links to each of these offers and cite stuff a bit easier rather than telling you guys to search the site for stuff just because of how Instagram rules work. So if you want to support our channel, go follow us over there. We'll post a bunch of deals and other stuff that you might want to know about. The first one is that American Express is no longer reimbursing gift cards for the travel incidental credit. There are a bunch of things that still work for a lot of different airlines. If you have a ticket booked less than $100, it's still going to use up the credit. So I wouldn't say that it's not valuable anymore, but if you're someone who doesn't travel at least once per year, it just got a lot harder to use. With most of the major ones, sub $100 fares trigger the credit. Some of them it's sub $50 fares. And then for other ones, you need to use a gift card, so maybe a $50 gift card, and then use that credit card for the remainder, so it'll trigger for that rest of the credit. And if you want to watch this and understand it a bit more and see the data points and where I'm sourcing this from, mostly Flyer Talk, go watch that video for the full details. My take on all of this is that it kind of sucks for people who don't travel that often, but for me it's still fine, and for a lot of people who travel at least once per year, you should still easily be able to use that credits. Number two is that Citi removed a lot of their travel protections from most of their cards. So back in the day, Citi was known as one of the top competitors for these benefits for trip delay protection on the Citi Prestige card as an example, and that's no longer the case. Does that mean that their cards are not good? Not really. You can still use it for the multipliers, just be cognizant that they don't have travel protection. If you're someone who hasn't used these in the past or you just don't care about them, then maybe it doesn't matter. So if you're using it for dining, for example, you don't really need to worry about that. For me personally, I'm a bit hesitant to use it for most of my major travel purchases, unless maybe it's short haul and I'm not worried about a delay or something crazy happening. But it's just something you need to be aware of because you don't want to not be covered. I would still strongly consider their cards though, especially when there are good bonuses, because bonuses still work out. You can always use plastic or pay your rent or do something else to hit the minimum spend. You don't have to use it to book travel. The rationale is that you would get the sign-up bonus, you would transfer the points out to another partner, and then when you book for those points, when you make an award redemption, you typically need to pay taxes and fees anyway, so you use your Chase Sapphire Reserve or that other card that has the protections. That way you're covered, because for the TSR, you only need to have some small amount. It doesn't have to be the total price of the tickets. I actually ran through one of these examples in another video where you can get a whole family in economy to Hawaii. I phrase that weirdly, but you know what I mean, to Hawaii from anywhere in the US for the sign-up bonus of 60,000 points. If you're someone who is more of a business class person, then you can do round trip for 2 people for business class. And that's not too bad for just one sign-up bonus, especially given the economy price of tickets to Hawaii from the East Coast ends up being pretty expensive anyways, so that can be substantial savings. My take on all of this is that it sucks, but I would still consider their cards, especially for the bonuses, but I just wouldn't use them as my main travel card for booking stuff for hotels or airfare anymore. The funny thing too is that the Prestige card was actually my main travel card for probably the last year. Jumping to some good news, American Express has a historically high offer for their Hilton Surpass card. One of the big benefits of this card is that there is an upgrade path as well as a downgrade path, so if you realize that you want to upgrade or downgrade after the first year, you have the option to do that. I've had a pretty good experience with Hilton, and I think it's a good welcome bonus, especially if you are using it towards one of those aspirational trips. Given the nature of Hilton points and also given the nature of the welcome bonus, the fact that there is a free weekend pretty much anywhere weekend night other than some of their specific residence properties or their timeshare properties that you don't really care about, means that you really want to use those points and that weekend night towards something like Bora Bora, Maldives, or just something that is otherwise very expensive that you might be saving up 5 or 10 years for otherwise without these points. Even if you don't do those type of stays, you can still get value from Hilton points, but I feel like it's a bit harder. It's really pushing you towards maximizing the value. On that note, if you are someone who wants to learn more about this American Express card or the Citi cards that we talked about, a very easy way to support our channel would be to use the links that are on our website, asksebi.com, or in the links down below in the description box. Pretty easy way to support our channel. One final reminder too is that with Citi Premier Card, you can downgrade it. There's a lot of different options that you have after the first year if it no longer gives you positive expected value, Citi Double Cash, Citi Dividend, even the Costco card. Jumping into a story that I didn't cover this month, but I feel like might be worth talking about is the Equifax Settlement. So a lot of people, a lot of news outlets have been talking about that 125 number, but right now they're kind of taking a step back. The FTC is saying that don't expect that number. The big reason is because Equifax only allocated a certain amount of money, and the more people that sign up for it, the less everyone gets. So we're in a situation where if everyone signs up, or even if a lot of people sign up, $100-something can easily drop to $10-something, which can easily drop to $150. And when I say $150, I mean $1.50. To counteract this, they've been encouraging people to take the other offer, but it doesn't really make sense to me just because you can create a similar system for alerts using free services. So why would I choose not to get money when I don't really need to pay for these services anyways? If you're tech savvy, even if you're not that tech savvy, it's pretty straightforward to set up alerts and to understand how these other systems can let you know if someone is improperly doing a hard pull. For people who have not signed up, then you're in an interesting spot because by signing up, you know that you're likely not going to get that much money unless you care about the credit monitoring stuff, which that's fine, I think, if you want to sign up for that. But if you're going for the money, you're not getting 125. I know some people who are considering doing small claims court for it and going up to that $5,000 cap, which is pretty common for most small claims courts, or even a few $100s because that's likely more than what you'll get through the settlement directly. For me, it's a bit crazy because if you look at their fine and then you compare it to something like Facebook, it's such a big difference. I realize the circumstances are different and there's a lot of other stuff in the background, but I just feel like Equifax should take a bigger hit. The final one is going to be the Capital One hack, and similar to most other hacks, the main things you need to do is to freeze your credit reports and also to be aware of any hard inquiries if stuff happens. It kind of sucks, but we're likely to keep seeing instances like this happen over and over again unless we start seeing bigger fines. All you can really do is freeze your credit, watch your credit and inquiries, and then wait for the check, which is probably going to be maybe $10. If you do want to look into what happened more on the technical side and you're curious about stuff like that, I'd recommend reading Hacker News. There is a bit of speculation, but they've pulled some interesting information as well. In addition, a few security publications also have very good write-ups about this, a lot better than the main news outlets who are pretty much saying the same thing over and over again. Probably not interesting to most people, so I will link it in the blog post down below if you are curious. End of the day, it's something that sucks, but there's not really much you can do about it, so you might as well just keep moving forwards. Hopefully that was helpful, and feel free to give this a thumbs up. My question for you guys is, what are your thoughts on any of these topics? Let me know and the community know down below. If you know anyone else who would benefit from what we just talked about, feel free to share this with them. I'll probably help them out, but hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.